Hello everyone, another day, another Tinto Flavor, this time Tinto Flavor number 39, dated back to 5th of September 2025, about England and Great Britain, and what you can hear in the background is the music from Europa Universalis 5. This is the official soundtrack available on YouTube, and I hope this will be fine. I don't know how it works in YouTube, but since it's published, I'm very sorry. I had a clump in my throat. If that's published, I believe this is available for everyone, and you can actually use it. So let's jump to that Tinto Flavor. Really curious about England and Great Britain. Maybe even more than France, despite the fact Great Britain is more of a naval faction than France. It's still interesting. So let's take a look how big it is. Oh, longbow competitions. I already like that. So this is pretty long. Let's move down. Longbowmen. Reformed Longbowmen. That's even cooler. Okay, Redcoats. That's much better right now. Okay, what do we have here? France demands Sir Robert de Ottawa. That's something about 100 Years' War. The Crown of France. Okay, we have to stop here for a moment. Look at that. I know I complain a lot about those 3D models. This is understandable. That's what I will do until they will not get removed from that. They will get removed until they will get removed from that game. Sorry. There's too much stuff going on. Of course we know they will not remove them. That's pretty obvious, but I hope it will happen sooner or later by modders. So, but either way, look, this is beautiful. That 2D painting in the background, it's absolutely gorgeous. This is 10 by 10 in my opinion. And now look at that 3D model. This is just like from a different game. Who the hell figured it out that's gonna be cool to add them? It's just... It doesn't match anything around. This is just bad. It's really bad. It's even worse than I thought. Because the graphic behind is beautiful. That concept art is fabulous. I mean, it's super immersive. That's how it should look like. Those I don't know, models. Jesus Christ, that's terrible. All right, but let's continue. That's really large. Tinto Flavor. Geoffrey Chaucer. The Canterbury Tales. War of the Roses. Look at that graphic. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Astonishing. Very immersive. That's how it should look like. The whole game. My lord. Okay, we have next Court of the Star Chamber. William Shakespeare. Oh my god, that's ass again. The Globe Theatre. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I hate looking at that. That's annoying at that point. That's really annoying. I know I'm the biggest hater of those 3D models. Okay, that one looks just okay. It's nothing special. That one looks ass. English Civil War. Oh, that's some kind of disaster, I guess. The Royal Society, blah blah blah. Wow, this is... my god, this is large Tinto Flavor. Pride and Prejudice. Okay, and that's it. That's where it finishes. Okay, let's go back to the top and let's start reading. There's no time to waste. Hello and welcome one more Friday to Tinto Flavor, the happy days in which we take a look at the flavor content of Europa Universalis 5. Today we will be taking a look at the content for England and Great Britain. As a tier 1 country, it has a lot of content with 233 DHEs, and honestly, no clue what it means. DHEs, what the hell is that? I haven't seen that name before and I have no idea how to resolve that. Alright, let's assume that's something. I assume this is, I mean the events. The events specific for the country. 233. So we have 203 3 for France, so it's even more for England. But what it means, I don't know. And a lot of different content assets. Let's take a look at them without further ado. So this is a description. The English crown is still reeling from a traitorous rebellion which resulted in the underhanded murder of King Edward II just 10 years ago. Although the ringleaders were executed, several co-conspirators have been granted mercy in the name of peace. Meanwhile, his surviving son, King Edward III, has already proven himself to be a capable young ruler and is making bold designs on the French throne, a throne which is his birthright as the grandson of a capped king. In the north, our misguided stooge Balliol weakly contends for the Scots crown, while our royal vassals maintain a tight grip on the governments of Wales, the Pale and Aquitaine. How shall we brave the turbulent years to come? Will we cross the channel and become a continental power, or look to the seas for global dominion? I'm definitely more for a continental power than a global dominion. It's easier to maintain, it's more about land and land warfare than the naval staff, but we'll see. My plan was also to play as England at the very beginning, but I've heard that it's really challenging. It might be even more challenging than France, so I don't know. I haven't double checked that. I know there's a lot of gameplays because content creators were allowed to publish their videos about Europa Universalis 5 and the actual gameplays of the release version. But I haven't watched them. I didn't have that much time, so... Well, I don't know. We will see. So we have Kingdom of England, King Edward III Plantagenet, 79, 68, 83, quite capable ruler. Primary culture English, primary religion Catholicism. We have below 5 million people, it's 4.7 million precisely, 78,000 levies, I guess, and 28... This is not sailors, is it though? 28 sailors? Would that make any sense? I don't think so. Or maybe. It doesn't mean 28 ships. Well, I don't know. Okay, regarding culture, we have English, Northumbrian, Picard, Cornish, and a few more. And Catholicism as a main religion, 100%, which is quite surprising. And some information about our relations with other countries. That's how it looks like, the map of England, so that's England. I don't know whether those are our subjects. Actually, might be based on the description and also the reddish color. I guess this might be our subjects. In the north we have Balliol and Scotland, and then we have also Ireland heavily divided. I guess this should be our first goals to conquer. As usual, please consider all 2D, 3D and UI as a work in progress, blah blah blah, okay, it doesn't really matter. Here we have the estates and government of England. The crown control is only 15%, it's not too much. Lords, which is nobility, 57%, clergy, 18%. Bourgeoisie, interesting name by the way, very French, just 3%, and yeomanry, which is my beloved name, English name, it's 5%. Why is that? I don't know. Whenever I read books, especially those about World War II or World War I, it happens sometimes, I see yeomanry and I know it means England or Great Britain, whatever. Yeah, it's very British name. I just like that. Let me take a sip of my drink. Okay, England starts with a very obvious government reform, the Magna Carta, and also a unique privilege. Yeah, that's a well-known thing. That granted a lot of, let's say, freedom for nobility. Let's quickly read it. Yeah, that increases noble power plus 20% and parliament base support plus 10%. The Great Charter is a constitutional law that distributes power away from the monarch and towards the barons. First signed in 1215, it is also one of the earliest documents to enshrine the idea of civil liberties, such as the right to a fair trial and protection against illegal imprisonment. Cool. Alright, let's move forward. Unfortunately, I will have to finish in about 5 minutes at best, because I have to do something else, so I think the first episode will be much shorter than the second one. Okay, Yeomanry. I love that name. Come on, this is beautiful. Noble estate, satisfaction, equilibrium, blah blah blah. Okay, let's skip that. Of course, that increases peasants' levy size, which is great. Regarding military, small freeholders of land receive elevated rights in return for taking on some responsibilities of petty nobles, including higher expectations regarding the defense of their realm. Cool. It also starts with a couple of unique policies enacted: longbow competitions, peasants power plus 10%, which is fine, levy combat efficiency plus 10%. Seems to be quite a lot and quite effective. Every man in the country upon holidays will make use of bows and arrows and so learn and practice archery to get high honor and profit in our warlike enterprises. This is great. This is absolutely great initiative. If you think about it in more modern ways, I mean, how to call it? So it's like American Minutemen right now, like people training with firearms on daily basis, either dry fire or live fire, just to be efficient with their weapon of choice. Usually that's the assault rifle, AR-15, let's call it like that. That's basically the same. Here comes the weekend, you have some time, you are obliged to train actually, because now we have a freedom of choice. Back then it was like you were maybe not forced, but obliged to do that. And this is cool. That just increases the country potential to fight. Of course, we have different times right now, different weaponry. You are not going to deal as much damage with your AR comparing with a Longbowmen back in medieval ages. We have now artillery, heavy tanks, what else? Air power, guided munition, long-range munition, and so on, drones. So, I mean, these things are supposed to deal a lot of damage. But still, if you are trained, you can at least protect your local community. So, yeah, in short. Okay, next is English Parliament. What's that? This is a policy of the distribution of power law. Decreases the crown power minus 33%. I think this is active from the very beginning, because we have only 15%. You cannot go below 0, I guess. So that might be active. Maximum tax plus 10%, which is always nice. A monthly legitimacy, agenda impact for nobility. I have no clue what it means. And the next one also, not really. With its origins as the Magnum Concilium during the Middle Ages, the English Parliament is its de facto successor and a major pillar of the English government. To the dismay of the ruling monarch, the Parliament ensures the check of power of the head of the state. That's correct. When I hear Parliament, I think about the British Parliament or the English Parliament. So I usually never connect it with some other countries, despite the fact other countries also have Parliament. It's kind of weird, but that's how it works. It's kind of the same with a Senate. When I hear Senate, I think United States. That's it. Okie dokie. So, what's next? It also has two unique buildings. One that is static, the ports, no clue what it means, and another that can be expanded, the Royal Forest. Royal Forest? What the hell is that? So we have that port. I have no clue how to pronounce that. We can skip it actually. One of the old single ports, this dockyard provides crucial naval support to the crown in exchange for historic autonomy. Well, really no idea what's that. Okay, then we have the Royal Forest. Whoa, that's a missing icon, I guess. That increases the crown power 50%? That's ridiculously high. My lord. Okay, the charter of the forest allows great hunting preserves to fall under the direct control of the crown. A forest in this sense is not necessarily heavily wooded, just good for hunting. Man, monthly development growth minus 10%, that's a lot. Cannot upgrade location, yes. Ooh, that sucks. But crown power is huge. It's just... Well, is that just a crown power in a certain location or just overall? I also don't know how it works. honestly. Whether it's like you have certain control or the power in given locations, or it's only just an overall measure. No clue. Okay, some starting works of art too. So we have Stone of Scone. No idea what's that. Or maybe I know. Maybe if I saw it. Okay. Saint Augustine Gospels. Cross of Knave. That's something I don't know. Llewellyn's Coronet? Also no clue what's that. Stolen assets may lay the foundation for a museum in the future, probably. Okay. Here we have some of the advances available to England and Great Britain. Our island home. That increases maritime presence by 20%. Our island protects us from outside enemies, but it will amount to nothing if we do not protect the surrounding waters. By being true masters of our surrounding seas, we'll keep a firm control on those who threaten our land. Makes absolutely sense. That's one of the reasons why Napoleon didn't manage to perform naval landing on the British Isles. That's one of the reasons. Very powerful Royal Navy. It's, well, honestly, it's quite interesting because Royal Navy was dispersed around the world. It was much more powerful than the French Navy, but still it was dispersed. So actually until the Trafalgar battle, naval battle of course, that was possible for France to land on British Isles. I guess so. I mean, it's just speculation, right? But after that, basically impossible. So Great Britain wasn't able to defeat France on land, and France wasn't able to defeat Great Britain on the sea. So that's it. That's why we had two great powers for some time. Okay, then we have Warbows. Unfortunately, I have to finish soon. Okay, let's continue quickly. Warbows unlocks Warbows army levies. Okay. Unlocks Yeomanry Estate Privilege. The powerful martial longbow, originally deployed with great impact against armored English knights in the Welsh valleys, has been adopted into the military doctrine on either side of the border. Love it. I love that you can actually unlock certain technologies which are directly related with military, and they are also put in a historical perspective. That's so cool, and I hope also we will see in the late game similar things like the muskets, smoothbore guns or whatever, depends. But in general, that's very promising. I love that already, and that's something I missed in Victoria 3. So in Victoria 3 we had bolt action rifle, let's say, and that bolt action rifle didn't affect in any way the combat abilities of your armies, which is totally stupid, because invention of bolt action rifle changed battlefield drastically. It increased fire rate of just the ordinary infantrymen so greatly that you were actually able to enable new infantry tactics and dominate your enemies just for the sheer firepower. That's crazy. And in Victoria 3 it didn't really matter, which sucks, of course. Here, that's gonna change a lot. I mean, a lot. Something at least. But you know that it affects the battlefield, so we will strive for those technologies. This is lovely. This is very, very lovely. Okay, so Warbows. The powerful martial longbow, originally deployed with great impact against armored English knights. Okay, I read it already. 3% of valid pops will be raised as Warbows. Simple as that. Beautiful. Look at that, that's the unit. Warbows, unit type infantry. And then we have basic statistics, monthly maintenance, requirements for construction. The powerful martial longbow, originally deployed with great impact. Okay, we know that. It's funny because it was against armored English knights. It was the Welsh technology. Okie dokie. Longbowmen, that's another advance. This is available in the Age of Renaissance and requires men-at-arms. So those are regulars, I believe. Not the levies. The Longbowmen excel not only due to their powerful warbow, but also their years of training on the archery fields. By the way, there's a lot of people saying that Longbowmen actually won the Battle of Agincourt, for example, and some other battles as well. So you can watch about that, read about that. It's a very short description of the longbow, I mean the curia. But yeah, it definitely affected the battlefield greatly. So 2% of valid pops will be raised as longbowmen. So this is still levy. Right, the longbowmen excel not only due to their powerful warbow, but also their years of training on the archery fields. Okay, that's it, yeah. So warbow was first, warbows, then we have longbowmen. That's something else. Yeah, this is the levy type unit still. It's quite surprising to me. What about reformed longbowmen? This is also a levy unit? Reformed longbowmen army levies. Oh yes. This age of a discovery requires halberdiers. Small innovations in equipment and organization result in continuous devastating volleys that shatter all but the most heavily armored formations. This, I mean, sounds so nice. 2% of valid posts will be raised as reformed longbowmen. And this is the same description. Here we have the unit, 1000 men, basic statistics. Let's compare it with just a standard longbowman. 1, 2, 100%. Quickly take a look. 1, 200%. 1, 500. 1, 500. And we have logistics 0.40 to 250. 0.20 to 250. Okay, well, what's the difference then? It's much, well, reformed longbowman requires higher maintenance. It's more of a burden for logistics, but based on the pure statistics, they look the same. So what's the difference? Where's the incentive to actually switch to reformed longbowman? So it looks like it doesn't really make any sense. Just the cost rises. Okay, maybe that's not yet updated. I don't know. We will see. But there is definitely an upgrade for the longbowman. Okay, next we have the Oldham Ordinance. I hope that music is not too loud. The Oldham Ordinance that increases production efficiency, although not passed in the year 1526, they represented the first attempt to streamline the royal bureaucracy of England to make it more responsive and cost-effective. I'm sorry. Alright, so next is English Bill of Rights, state satisfaction equilibrium increase, a sweeping series of reforms focused on the limits of royal power, in particular focused on the judiciary. The monarch may not unilaterally raise armies, prescribe cruel and unusual punishment, or interfere with the free election of members of parliament. Alright, so interesting options. And then we have Redcoats. I love it. This is a regular regiment. Okay, so we see that it's not a levy anymore. That's just a regular army. Age of Revolutions requires Fusiliers. Fusiliers are also regular regiments, so life in the English army is grueling and strictly regimented, but it instills in the men a certain character. Their stiff upper lip and expertise with firearms put fear into the hearts of your enemies. Beautiful. That sounds cool. Look at the difference in size. So Redcoats count 3,200 men, and longbowmen just 1,000. So, oh my god. Sorry. So yeah, that's a drastic change in size. Oh yeah, I can imagine armies will be huge in the mid to late game. Like counting thousands, which is cool. Which is really, really cool. Alright, I'm checking just the statistics. Also logistics, look at that. In case of longbowmen, that was 0.40. Here we have 3.20. That's a huge burden for the country. Alright. I wish that they changed that icon to represent more redcoats, like the real redcoats, because it looks like, I don't know, some type of, well, a knight or halberdier or arquebusier, something like that. Yeah, I would expect a better graphic for that. But that's just a minor thing to change. And some more structural content, the conditions for the creation of the Great Britain formal country. Alright, so I think we'll stop here How much is left? Let's go down. We have a lot of events. So we will get through them very briefly, and that's where it finishes. Alright, that's right in the middle, I guess. So far, that was a great reading. I love that. England looks so promising to me. Oh, I missed... No, wait a second. Go up. Here we are. Cool. Yeah, that looks very promising to play as Great Britain. Might be very interesting playthrough. Especially that you can follow multiple different paths, like mentioned at the very beginning, the global dominion or the continental superpower. Cool. I'm looking forward for trying England. Definitely. All right. Well, that's gonna be a super hard choice to select proper country. Just 3 days. I have to start thinking about that. Okay. Either way, I hope you like it, and hopefully see you in the part 2 where we'll continue with that. And I guess part 2 will be the last video of that sort. And then from 4th of November, we will start with proper gameplay and proper campaign. So I'm really glad to say that finally. Okay, so once again, thank you very much. See you next time. Goodbye.